Honestly, I probably could increase the respawn rate. Because it's not too hard to read the text at the moment. But I feel like it's fast enough. It's fast enough to where I can read it, but it's not super slow. Yeah, AoE spells are a bit slow. Yeah, this game really does look good. You want to hear a funny meme? This game aged better than Final Fantasy VIII. That's gonna be a yikes. But yeah, I mean, this game's pretty nice to look at, for sure. Most NES games are. The thing is, the majority of 8-bit and 16-bit games still look great. The games, the early PS1 games that were dabbling with 3D graphics but weren't really perfect with it yet, is the stuff that just looks terribly muddy nowadays. Yeah, it's just that awkward period. Same with the N64, it's just this awkward period where they were testing new things, and back then it felt so revolutionary that you didn't really realize how bad it looked. But nowadays it looks terrible. Here, like, they knew it didn't look good. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't look at this and be like, this is real life. So it was more about making it look nice rather than, like, looking realistic. But the beginning of the N64 time and the beginning of the PS1 time, they were trying to make things look realistic because they felt like they could do it. They felt like graphics were getting good enough to where they could really make things look like what they are. But it just barely wasn't there yet. So you get these really muddy graphics. Oh yeah, we'll be playing Crash 4. For sure. I'm really excited for that game. Plus, technically for Crashathon, we should play it. Just to keep Crashathon complete. Yeah, I mean, it would be a disservice to not play Crash 4, because Crash 4 was like... I had the idea for Crash 4 before it was a thing. I said when we played the Insanity collection that I wanted that, but original levels. As soon as we played the second DLC, I knew that it was possible. I was like, they need to do this, because this original level they made for the DLC is really good. So like, just do this, but make a whole game out of it. And I was like, if they did that, I'd be so happy. And they did it. So, I'd be a fool not to buy it. They did exactly what I wanted. They were in the chat. And they said, we'll do it for you, Death. We're on it. No, I think they had that idea even before the Insanity Trilogy. I think that's why the Insanity Trilogy really got pushed, because they were, it was like their test. You know, if this goes well, then we'll make an original level. And then the DLC 2 was an original level, and that was like their final test to be like, do people like this? And they got really great feedback from that, so it was the logical progression to then make a full game. I started getting excited when I played that second DLC, because I was like, oh, they're toying with the idea, like, you know, they're trying this to see how it goes. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know what the first game I played where I felt like the graphics were good. Honestly, it would probably be Final Fantasy VII, and that's just because the games I played before Final Fantasy VII were ice hockey. So, to me, Final Fantasy VII looked like the frickin' future. Like, you know what I mean? But, looking back on it, like, I don't know if that was the first game that really pushed it over the edge to, like, wow, video games are real life. Like, what was the first game I played that I was really just blown away by the graphics? Probably like Final Fantasy X, maybe. I think one of my favorite games graphically of all time is Shadow of Colossus, but that was one of the last PS2 games I played, so I can't say that was like the first one I played that blew me away. But Shadow of Colossus definitely blew me away. I couldn't believe the PS2 was capable of doing that, you know? I still can't. I still play Shadow of Colossus on PS2 and think, like, this isn't real. This is someone dressed up my PS3 as a PS2. Like, they put in some extra RAM or something. The PS2 I know couldn't do this. The PS2 that played aggressive inline does not have the capability to create these graphics. Also, Meatloaf, think of the gifted sub to Roman. And Bryce, thank you for the bits. Yeah, I don't remember really ever being persuaded by graphics when I was a kid. The only time I remember being blown away by graphics was Final Fantasy VII, and that's just because I had only played NES games and, like, Sonic 2 at that point. So, but I don't remember ever being like, wow, this game has amazing graphics, I need to buy it. Like, not until, like, probably PS3 era, like Last of Us, where I was like, oh my god. But I never truly cared that much about graphics. It was just a cool bonus. Even like, and the thing with like the PS3 was that was back in like the heyday of everyone bragging about graphics, so I just kind of got sucked into that a bit, you know. That was when the PS3 came out. It was all about the graphics for a time. I remember watching videos of them explaining like wall destroying capabilities and stuff, and thought it was so cool. I remember my friends talking about it. They're like, did you watch that video of the guy shooting the wall and like the wall breaks? It's the future. I remember at one point we would count how many bullet holes you could put in the wall before it started resetting the bullet holes, and that was like a defining feature of a game. Like, that's how much graphics like mattered. We were like, okay, well, in Call of Duty you can shoot 9 bullets in the wall before it starts resetting them, but in Halo you could do 10. Wow, graphics. The RAM is exceptional. And like, with the whole war between Xbox and PS3, people would throw around numbers all the time that they had no idea what they meant. It was an interesting time. I liked the console wars. I think it brought a lot of interesting, like, discussions and stuff to gaming, but at the same time I kind of hated them. Because it was, like, unnecessary. I kind of prefer the way it is now, where every game kind of has, or every console kind of has its niche. And we can just kind of, like, enjoy games. And there's not enough really, like, stuff that's held on each console to where it's a problem if you don't own one for the most part. So, there's like, you know, back in the day, even though Call of Duty existed on Xbox and PlayStation, it was almost like two completely different games, you know? Like, you either played Call of Duty on Halo or on Xbox, or you played Call of Duty on PlayStation. It was like two completely different things. And you were not the same. Like, it would even get to the point where, like, people would think you were worse if you played on a certain console. You know? Like, you've played Call of Duty on PlayStation, but you haven't played it on Xbox. It's a different thing. Like, I would destroy you on Xbox because you played on PlayStation. Like, it was just like, it was crazy. It was weird. Nowadays, it's like, you want to play Call of Duty? Sure. And then it's like, you can play on whatever. It doesn't matter, for the most part. It's just a different time. It was weird. I should have used Slep. Yeah, now it's like, you want to play Call of Duty, and everyone pulls out their phone, and they're like, yeah, I already got it. And most, like, the old games, if you want to play old games together, it's almost always you just play on PC. Just get the Steam version or whatever and just play it. And that works for everyone. But as much as I like the way it is now, and I think it's better the way it is now, it was fun to, like, you know, discussions about the console wars and stuff kept gaming talks constant at school, like, every day. Be talking about stuff, and it just made for good conversation, you know. It made for bad conversation, too, because you'd get people that were, like, you know, way too into it, but... See you, Slash. Or people that just had no idea what they were talking about, but they owned one, so they wanted to yell at you for owning the other. Yeah, unfortunately, I was too young back in the Bit War days, you know. I got to fully experience the console war between PS3 and Xbox, which was probably the biggest one, because gaming was a lot more mainstream popular at that point. But I missed out on the Bit Wars of the early 90s and late 80s. I missed out on those. Which were probably even more, you know, misguided. People probably had less idea of what they were talking about back then. Nintendo does what Sega doesn't. There you go. Actually, slow would probably help a lot for this fight, because they do multiple hits a lot. Yeah, I watched a video recently about, oh man, it was ineffective. I watched a video recently, and we were talking on stream a bit ago, about each generation and which console won, and it's a pretty interesting read. You could just Wikipedia it to see, but it's interesting to see like how it actually all panned out, given our recollection of it, like who bought what. I Maybe you lived on a street where a bunch of people had Genesises. Maybe you lived on a street where a bunch of people owned Nintendos. You already opened this, right? Aw, crap. I think I already opened this, but I still gotta fight the dude. I guess we'll see. But who actually won the console wars is interesting. One of the most interesting pieces of gaming history is just how dominant the PlayStation 1 and 2 were, and how much they blew it with the PS3. It's actually, like, fascinating, because they could have easily made the PS2 again with Blu-ray capability and probably just smoked Microsoft. But instead they got greedy and didn't do very good advertising, and the advertising that they did do was extremely strange and weird, like that weird baby commercial that always comes up. Because they were so confident that the PS3 would just sell because the PS1 and PS2 were so successful. And they blew it. And it's funny because if they had not blown it, then Microsoft probably would have just given up. You know? Like, imagine if the Xbox didn't compare to the PS3 and the PS3 was just that much more dominant. Then they probably would have never made an Xbox 360. They probably would have just been like, okay. Or rather, an Xbox One. They would have made the 360 and then just given up. Because they weren't really that much into the gaming space at that point. They were really just kind of throwing their hat in. And if Sony would have just destroyed them, then they would have just been like, alright, we yield. And just moved on to something else. But because PS3 blew it so hard, and Xbox actually became... yeah, that's unfortunate. Xbox became so popular, they stayed in the space. Oh no. So, the PS3 eventually outsold the Xbox 360, because later they fixed it. Later they came out with the Slim, and they did all this better advertising. They did advertising with that one guy, the new lead. I forget his name. Someone in the chat probably knows, but they did those advertisements with that guy, and he explained the PS3 a lot better, and later on they had better games like Last of Us and stuff, and eventually it outsold. But when the PS3 first came out, they blew it. And that's what really put Xbox on the map. Yeah, there's a ton of history behind it. It's really interesting. Yeah, I think it's fair to say that Microsoft earning a space. Yeah, we're dead. We're getting soft locked here. So this is the issue with these fights. If everyone gets stunned, it takes them a turn to get unstunned, if not more than one turn. And what usually happens is once you get unstunned, you just get stunned again before you can do anything. See? So, yeah, I've yet to put in any action in this fight so far. It's worse when you have people dead too, because then it's even less chance that you're gonna be able to do anything. But I think it's safe to say that Microsoft getting into the game space was actually good for the overall, gaming industry. If Sony had just taken over and Nintendo just kind of kept doing gimmicky stuff, I don't think gaming would be as mainstream as it is today. I think that the console wars and Microsoft being Microsoft really helped push gaming into the public eye, more so than it would have if it was just Sony. But yeah, if you ever want an interesting read about how dominant the PS1 and the PS2 were. It's actually insane. I mean, gaming was like this niche thing for a while. And when the PS2 came out, it was everybody and their brother running to Best Buy to buy one. It was like nothing you've ever seen. It was pretty insane. And like the sales numbers for the PS2, given that gaming wasn't where it was today, is absurd. Because like the Wii and the DS have sold an ungodly amount, but it's because of where gaming is nowadays and where Nintendo is. But for Sony to just be like, here's the PS2, and for it to sell like basically a fridge at that, like you had to have one in your house, was crazy. And yeah, most of that, the mainstream part was because of the DVD player. The reason that it sold to people that didn't even play video games was because of the DVD player. So that was the big win. That was the big play. That's what really put it on the map. But even the PS1 was a huge hit. And part of the reason the PS1 was a big hit is the same reason why the Xbox was a big hit. Because Nintendo kind of screwed themselves with the N64 at first. So people looked at the PlayStation and were like, ooh. But yeah, there's never been quite the gap between other consoles. The PS1 destroyed the N64. The PS3 eventually beat the Xbox. The Wii outsold everything else from that generation eventually. But there's never been a gap as big as the PS2 versus anything. The PS2 demolished the other consoles at the time. There was no chance. There was no competition. Good Vibrations from Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch actually topped the charts in 1991. Can I get your comment on that? I would, but for legal reasons, I can't. I was in the video. That would be a conflict of interest. I was one of the bros in that video. Dude. I was one of the crew. I was one of the bunch. Thanks for the lurk, Chimp. Have a good weekend. Yeah, it's 2. That was 2. I was just in the back going, POW! Yeah, it's really sad. The PS3 was really a loss, like, for the wrong reasons. The PS3 should have been so successful, but they forced so much unuseful crap into the first model, and they made it such a weird... They built it in such a weird way that companies had a hard time making games for it. And that was, like, its biggest downfall. They should have just kept it simple. But instead they try to make it like the ultimate box, and it backfired. If Sony could go back in time and make the PlayStation 3 the Slim first, it probably would have absolutely annihilated Microsoft. And they never would have made another game console. Just like they annihilated Nintendo the year before. Well, a couple years before. It's a big gap between PS2 and PS3. Yeah, with the PS and the PS2, they did their best to like send out dev kits and make it super easy to make games because it was a new concept and discs and everything. And discs were so much easier than carts also, so that helped a lot. But with the PS3, they basically like sent out some spoons and a Ouija board. And they were like, good luck. We want Crash 4 by Friday. They're like, get us that latest Fallout game. Here's some chopsticks and a ram stick. Good luck. So when Microsoft was like, we're Microsoft and we're making a console, everyone was like, I'm down. Threw away that PS3 dev kit. Stomach is growling. I am hungry. But I'm trying to get somewhere else in this dungeon before we quit. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, the very first PS3 was backwards compatible with PS2 and PS1 games. The later versions were only backwards compatible with PS1 games. But they all had like PS1 games available on the store as well. So even if they weren't backwards compatible with PS1 games, you could still play some, but they all were. I'm kind of surprised that later they didn't take out the PS1 backwards compatibility too, since they took the time to put a bunch on the store, but they always kept it there. It must have just been a lot easier. Nintendo is an interesting company, I tell you what. And I mean, I think a lot of it boils down to the fact that they were a toy company first. And so I feel like they've always been about like innovating and trying new things and not necessarily just like the core of gaming, you know. So it was much more, they're always much more about trying to stand out and do their own thing. And sometimes it backfires like with the Wii U, and then sometimes it's a success like the DS and the Switch. And for the most part, I think the best thing about Nintendo is that they don't follow the PS3 or the Sony and Xbox like release dates. Sony and Xbox are always trying to like compete with each other in terms of when they release and what their price is and stuff. Whereas Nintendo will just randomly be like, I don't know, it's January, here's a new console. And everyone will be like, whoa. So they have money in their pockets. They don't have to pick between the Nintendo and the Sony. Sony's got a new console, time to go buy it. And then the other thing that Nintendo does that's more frustrating but makes sense is they always keep their stock really low. They've always done that. With the NES Classic, with the Switch, with games, with their toy figures, everything. They always keep a low stock so that it's desired and people will buy it and then sell it, and everything's always rare and hard to get a hold of when it first comes out. And that boosts the price, and that boosts the market, and that boosts the people that want it, the desire for it. It's annoying because people want to buy it and they can't, but it's always a huge tactic of theirs. The Wii U was like monumental failure, and such a weird failure too, because they didn't even try to market it. It's like they knew it was going to be a failure or something, because legitimately most people just didn't know it existed. And I think a lot of that is the marketing and the name. The name was terrible, truly awful. It is so hard to, from that name, realize, like, is it a new console? Is it an update to the Wii? Is it, like, what is it? It was an absolute disaster on all fronts. And what blows my mind about the Wii U is because of the name and because of what it is, it needed even more advertising than usual, you know? Like, most consoles need advertising to get out the door, but the Wii U needed even more than usual because it was a strange new gimmick and an idea, and the name didn't really set it aside from the Wii, so there needed to be a huge marketing campaign to be like, this is what it is, this is how it works, and it's not a Wii. And not only did they not do that, but they even did it less than usual. There was less advertising than any other Nintendo console ever. So, you know, that's why it backfired so hard. It needed more, and it got less. How's it going, Dark Prince? What's your go-to guilty pleasure in terms of, like, games? Or just in general? I guess in general it'd probably still be games, though. Call of Duty Zombies is, like, my go-to game just to play when I feel like just vegging out and playing a game without thinking. And you could probably call that a guilty pleasure because it's Call of Duty and, you know, people like to poop on Call of Duty because it's Call of Duty. But, I've been a huge Zombies fan for a really long time and continue to play it and do challenges and all sorts of stuff. Another guilty pleasure of mine is Puzzle Star Sweep, which is a extremely unknown game that's really good, but really bad at the same time. It's good, but it's bad. But I love it. And Digital Card Battle is one of my favorite games and is also a completely unknown game that's based on the Digimon card game for PS1. Last year I played a bunch of my guilty pleasure games for my birthday, and I might do it again this year, because my birthday's on Sunday, but we're going to stream Monday, and I'm going to do like a birthday stream, and maybe I'll come up with something like that, just play a bunch of guilty pleasure games or something. I haven't decided yet what we're doing. I'll probably just pick a game I feel like playing that day and play it. I did play Kessen on PS2. Classic. Man, these chests don't feel worth the money. Like, so many of them are pretty lame and they have these big bosses in front of them. We might have to leave again. Because, like, this dungeon is so long, we're running out of stuff again. I used to stream Puzzle Star Sweep all the time because I used to speedrun it. But I haven't played it in a hot minute. I owned the world record in every category of that game for a while. But that wasn't really saying that much because there weren't very many people running it. There was like 3 people running it. But it was fun trying to optimize each individual category. I was just really just having fun with the game because I love it. Well, that's not what we wanted. How's it going, Jungle Moose? How's it going, Mammoth? Can I cast life yet? Or... nope. I got one, but she doesn't, like, get it until we go rest. So we're gonna have to get out. And I didn't buy warp. I need to buy warp next. It would be way too useful for like these runs where I get far but then get in trouble. Speaking of which. No! That was like the turn before Mav would have gone. Oh my god, she actually got away. I was so lucky. We gotta book it though. Out of the way, bats. Oh, if you think this difficulty spike is bad, just wait. It gets far worse. Oh my god, the wizards just obliterated Braun. Just all of them attacked him. Yeah, we're dead. I was hoping I could at least get out to buy warp, but that did not happen. I think I'm gonna try to get, like, try to just grind the top of the dungeon, actually. So I can get warp, and then next time we can try to go deeper and get out with warp. Yeah, I have heard that the game's escape calculations are complete nonsense in this version. A lot of the stuff is complete nonsense in this version. But especially the escape chance is completely broken because the coding in this game is whack. Yeah, I actually found that out the hard way. Like, actually found that out just because I ran a thief my first time through this game a long time ago. And just watched as he could never run away from anything. And I was like, okay, this is just a ruse. It's just not how this game works at all. Yeah, this Monday. Which I would actually stream on my birthday, but that's like the only day I can be with my wife for my birthday. So I'm just gonna stream Monday as normal. We'll just do the birthday stream then. Which last year we did a big event, but this year it's not gonna be any, we'll just stream and I'll just play something fun that's not on the schedule. Last year we did a whole week and we did like a bunch of games from my childhood. We did a bunch of DOS games and Klonoa 2 and Digital Card Battle and all sorts of games that I played as a kid. Also Star Sweep and stuff. Maybe we'll do something like that next year too. We had a goofy shred session. Yes, if you go to my support page, I have a P.O. box. We actually opened 4 gifts this morning. That's the first thing we did when we opened up the stream. Because it had been a while since I checked my P.O. box because of you-know-what, so... Ooh, I have a Cast of Fire 3. So it had been a while since I've been in my box, and I had 4 packages there. So we opened up, we got Lufia 2, this game I still don't know how to pronounce. It's Saga Frontier. I keep thinking that's an L. Yeah, Saga Frontier. Manhunter. Or Maneater, I mean. And Vandal Hearts. Which Vandal Hearts is one that, holy cow, so many people ask about. So that one's going to be fun to play. Yeah, the next fan day should be fun. We have a lot of cool games to play for the next fan day. Yeah, and Zap said he's going to send Digimon World 3, so that'll be another one we can play. Quote-unquote play. More like, painfully attempt. Yeah, I don't know how much Digimon World 3 has improved from 1. Because I've only ever played 1, and then the brand new one. And the brand new one I really enjoyed a lot. And the first one was just a disaster when I was a kid, just like everyone else that tried to play it as a kid. How's it going, Great Said? How's it going, Pet Friend? Dude, Battle Hunter. Represent. Battle Hunter was made by the same company that made Puzzle Star Sweep. And I love that game, but it's... yikes. It's so hard, but it's so much fun, and it's so unique.
What am I gonna do?
What am I gonna do? I should already have these. Think of the 101 D-Bolt. I actually have a Battle Hunter song that I play during the entrance to the stream all the time. Or published, yeah. I don't know if it was made by the same company. The company that published it is really weird. They have like this whole strange like system that they had with their games where they like had different icons on the disc depending on what type of game it was, and I guess they had an idea to like keep that going through a bunch of genres, but they didn't last that long. They had a very unique style. Also, that was neat. Just watching that gargoyle hit Mav for 4 times. That was excellent. And he's dead. Should I just run from this? Because, like, Mav died. I can't AoE. There's like a million gargoyles. Yeah, A1 Games was their name. But yeah, I played Battle Hunter on stream a while ago. It might have even been for that birthday week last year. And it was so much fun returning to that game. It's just such an interesting, like, experience. It's such a weird game. It's so unique. And it feels so arcadey, in a way. But the one issue with that game is it's brutally unfair. Like, imagine you're playing a Mario Party game, but the goal isn't to get the most hearts or the most stars as possible before the end of the game. Instead, the goal is to just get 1 star. Whoever gets 1 star first wins, right? Now imagine when you start the game, you and 3 other AI opponents are spawned on random parts of the map. So what happens is sometimes the AI just spawns standing next to the star. And then it starts, and then they just grab the star. And then you just lose. That's what could happen in Battle Hunter sometimes, because the way it worked was super roguelike. Everything was random. So like you could just get these setups where the game was just like, you lost. And it made it cool because it really felt like you were against the odds. It really felt like a roguelike type game where it was all up to luck and chance. But at the same time, it was annoying when the game just decided you lost and there was nothing you could do about it. Oh, for the most part, it was balanced. Don't get me wrong. Like, when you pick up a star, you could beat them up and grab it and stuff, but there were times where they would spawn right next to the star and then right next to the exit. And there was literally, every turn, I would roll a 6 and run as fast as I could towards them and couldn't reach them before the game was over. Like, there's sometimes where it was just literally, the deck was just completely stacked against you and there was no way you'd ever win. And it made it feel cool when you did win, but at the same time, it was frustrating when that happened like twice in a row and you were like, you know what, I just don't feel like playing this anymore. The game hates me. So, that was like the one bad thing about it. But like I said, I mean, it was almost like a roguelike before roguelikes were popular. It really was an interesting idea. It had this, like, interesting gimmick that no other game really had back then. Why is "Oh dear, I'm dead" a quote? That's a quote from Broken Sword, where the guy gets shot and he says, "Oh dear, I'm dead," and then dies. I don't know why he says that. It's like it's not a badly translated line or anything, that's just what they decided he would say. Oh dear, I'm dead. Actually, no, I don't think he says I'm dead. I think he just says oh dear and dies. And then chat was like, oh dear, I'm dead. And then that became the meme. Yeah. But yeah, he gets shot and just goes, oh dear, and then dies. And we found that very funny. Okay, so I should be able to... Oh no, she's still not a high enough level. Oh, yeah, she is. Okay, so I should be able to rest at the inn. And then use life. And then rest again. But before I do that, I'm gonna go buy warp. Not you. Wait. Oh, I think warp's at the elf place. Alright, we gotta take a detour trip. Unless this place has 2 white mage things, but I don't think so. No. I think it was at the elf town. Unless it wasn't black mage, was it? Oh, it is black mage. Okay. Good thing I checked. What do you mean? What do you mean Mav can't learn that? Did I already learn it? Huh. I guess I have to be stronger or be a red mage. Rip. Alright, no warp for us. Drakengard, yes, I have played. I owned it as a kid and thought it was awesome. I never played Dynasty Warriors, so Drakengard was basically my Dynasty Warriors, because I didn't know Dynasty Warriors existed, and it's pretty similar. No warp percent. Actually, what time is it? I think we could go for one more. One more quick visit. And then I'll grab lunch, and then we're gonna play some Mega Man. It's going good. Getting annihilated, you know, the usual. The usual with this Final Fantasy one. As is tradition. I could go to the Titan Cave, but I think I remember... Oh, hello. That's a tiger. I think I remember the Titan Cave just literally being inaccessible at the moment. But there might be like a chest or something I can open. Stubbed my toe and dropped my phone. No. Why? You gotta love how matter-of-fact they are in these old games. We have an enemy. It looks like a tiger. What should we call it? Tiger? What's your name? Rick? I like how you think, Rick. We're gonna keep you around. And then there's some names that just baffle me, like Creep. Like, where'd they come up with Creep? Dude, Rick is a solid go-to name. My name's not Rick. Yep, this is all this is. It's just him being like, no one passes. But there is some ogres in here I can fight for that juicy experience. Normally I would just go in the dungeon now, but since we don't have a lot of time, I'll just grind a bit, and then we'll be ready for next week. I missed the Legend of Legaia names. Legend of Legaia has the best enemy names. Critical hit, terminated. Hasta la vista, ogre. Hasta la vista, Shrek. We're going to be playing some Mega Man 04 later. And possibly Mega Man 01 as well. We're currently at the final boss of 04. And it's quite the gauntlet. I'm honestly surprised at how much of a banger the battle music is. I thought it would get so grating, given that it's just an NES bleeps and bloops, but I don't know, it's good. I could listen to it the whole game. As a matter of fact, I think I will. It kind of bothers me that the Black Mage's eyeball, his right eyeball looks bigger than the left. It looks like he's doing the capital O dot under case O, lowercase o, face at all times. It doesn't bother you until you realize it, and then now it bothers me. Yeah, you're welcome. Should I tell you some of the terrible things in Final Fantasy VII when we get to it as well? So you can never unsee them? Just ruin everyone's experience of Final Fantasy VII? I have a lot of them. Critical hit, Grover terminated. I think we're all familiar with Kate Sith already. Yeah. That was unfortunate. The day I found the dead pixel. Never be the same again. Alright, let's use Harm 3 just to see how much ridiculous damage it does. Probably gonna do like 5. It'll roll between like 200 and 5. $67. 103. 210. 89. I would hate to speedrun this game, man. So, some of the rolls you can get are just insanely low. It's like, alright, we're at the final boss, time to cast Super Ultima. 20. Sometimes when terminated pops up really fast and goes away, I think it says terminatrid. I don't know why. I keep seeing an R there. I was hoping to get some more tigers, but instead I'm just getting shadows, which are worth like nothing. Maybe I should go back in the cave. Yeah, the mages are so much more useful now that like the low-level spells have a ton of uses. At the beginning of the game, you get like 2 fires, and then they're just useless. So they're kind of annoying at first, but now they're actually useful. They're a lot more fun to use. And then if you run to a fight that's like really scary, you can nuke them with Fire 3 or something. So they actually have like a lot of options. And the white mage actually has some better options now instead of just, I can heal once. You know, he has like harm if they're undead. You can mute, you can use defensive stuff. You can use ruse to protect himself. He's got some options. And actually, I've seen him do some big damage with those hammers. If he gets a crit, he's doing like 40 damage. Harm is pretty good, but I don't think anything beats Slep. Slep is the best name for a spell. I will put you to Slep! How's it going, Superman? This is indeed the first North American release of Final Fantasy. Which is pretty close to the original release, it's just in English, and I don't think they didn't even really fix anything. It's practically just the Famicom version in English. I think it's time to release the beast. We got a fight full of spiders. It's time to give him the business. Also, I love that the white mage is smacking the spiders with a hammer. 120 damage, terminated. 160 damage, terminated. 50 damage, not even terminated. 100 damage, terminated. God. Fire 3, my black mage's ultimate fire spell. 50 damage to a spider. Fantastic. Yeah, it's pretty wild how random the magic is. I mean, it even says in the guidebook, like, or in the manual, you know, Fire 3, third and most powerful fire spell. Damages range from 50 to 200. So, like, yeah. They knew. Alright, let's do one more. Yeah, especially when you realize that the soldier or the warrior continues to get stronger and stronger, and the mages will just always do 50 to 200 damage. Like, makes it kind of sad for the mages. With that spell, that is. I don't know if there is a way for them, like, because I know, because people have spoiled it, that intelligence doesn't do anything. But I wonder if, like, level or just being a higher class or whatever, like, eventually makes them do maybe a bit more damage. Or if it's just literally always going to be 50 to 200. I guess the one benefit is you get more casts of it later, though. Alright. Go, mysterious, white-covered character. That isn't my white mage, because you look nothing like my white mage. Alright, that will be it for Final Fantasy 1 today. We're going to move over to some other stuff, but for now we got to say goodbye to YouTube. So YouTube, thank you so much for being a part of Final Fantathon and being a part of the Final Fantasy 1 Let's Play. I hope you're enjoying. I certainly am. Next time, we'll be back into the Earth dungeon to fight more Earth bosses, and it should be a blast. So we'll see you there. Thank you so much for being here for these episodes. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.